Have you ever faced a coding challenge that seemed impossible? If you're struggling to print numbers in a specific range without using loops or conditions in Java, you're not alone. Today, we're going to tackle this tricky problem together. I totally get it. Trying to solve coding problems can be frustrating, especially when the usual methods just won't work. You're not the only one who has hit a wall with this kind of challenge. Here's the specific question we're addressing today. One user asked how to print numbers from 10 to 60 without using any loops or conditions. They even tried a recursive function but ran into issues when reaching 60. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this together. So what's the problem here? The user attempted to use recursion, but without a proper stopping condition, the function crashes when it tries to divide by 0. This is a common pitfall in recursive programming. And stay tuned. At the end of this video, I'll share a clever workaround that will help you solve this challenge without running into errors. To begin solving this challenge, the user can utilize a static variable within a class to keep track of the current number. This approach avoids using loops or conditions. Next, the user should create a constructor in the class that prints the current number and increments it. This will allow the user to print numbers sequentially without any conditions. Now, the user can instantiate multiple objects of the class. Each instantiation will trigger the constructor, printing the numbers from 10 to 60. Finally, the user should run the program to see the output. This will print the numbers from 10 to 60 without using loops or conditions. Fun fact, did you know that recursion is often compared to Russian nesting dolls? Each function call is like a smaller doll inside the larger one, and without a proper base case, they just keep going. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by a user involves using reflection in Java. They define a class called sandbox with a main method that prints numbers from 10 to 60. The method getFalse is called recursively, utilizing reflection to invoke itself until the stop condition is reached. Let's take a look at another answer from another user. An alternative solution involves using a hash map, bitwise operators, and reflection in Java. The user defines a class called range, which contains a method to print numbers in a specified range without traditional loops or conditions. The user also presents a more object-oriented approach. This version uses an interface for printing, allowing for a cleaner design. It defines two classes, keep going and quit, to manage the printing process based on the current state. Let's take a look at another answer from another user. An alternative approach to printing numbers in a specific range without loops or conditions involves using semaphores. This method utilizes a recursive function to count from 10 to 60. The print numbers class creates a watcher thread that terminates the process once counting is complete. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. An alternative approach to printing numbers in a specific range without loops or conditions is to use the bitset class from Java's utility library. This method allows you to represent a large set of positive integers efficiently. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. This user presents an alternative approach to printing numbers in a specific range without using loops or conditions. They suggest using a recursive method combined with an arithmetic trick to simulate Boolean values. The key idea is to use the properties of 0 in arithmetic to control the recursion. By calculating a value based on the difference between start and stop, the method can determine when to stop without explicit conditions. Here's the clever workaround I promised. By using a static variable in a class, you can elegantly print numbers in a range without traditional loops or conditions. This method is not only effective, but also a great way to understand recursion better. And there you have it. You've learned how to print numbers in a specific range without using loops or conditions. Remember, coding challenges can be tricky, but with the right approach, you can overcome them. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more coding tips and tricks.